Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to the Able Gardener. I was outside. It's just a beautiful day out. I've carried out probably 7 or 8 trays of seedlings that I've got. I carried them out, put them on the sidewalk so they could get some real sun. And I thought I'd come in and check some of my pepper seeds. Now, I haven't had a lot of luck growing peppers yet. Usually I don't have any problem at all, but I've planted peppers twice, and let me back up a minute. What I want to do is grow a lot of different kinds of peppers because I'm anticipating having a little vegetable stand to sell peppers and tomatoes, eggplants, things like that. And I've tried twice now to grow peppers. Some of them have come up. My jalapeno peppers came up right away, but the rest of them are taking their time or not coming up at all. So I thought I would try the moist paper towel method, where you put your seeds in a moist paper towel, put them in a little baggie, and get your seeds on some warmth or some heat. And I know that peppers like to be about 90 to 95 degrees to start germinating. So I did get a couple of trays or a couple of totes that I have around the house. Let me bring you closer, show you what I put together to start my seeds. And I've also put watermelon seeds and probably a few different kinds of seeds in here. And I just have so many pepper seeds. You're probably going to think this is crazy, but I'll show you what I've got here, how I put this together, and how I'm going to start my pepper seeds. And I've been checking them on a daily basis just to make sure they had enough moisture but not too much, because pepper seeds don't need a lot of moisture to start germinating, but they do like the heat. And I've just fudged this around with a couple of Christmas tree lights on the bottom tray. So I've got 2 totes. Christmas tree lights are in the bottom tote, and the seeds, little packages of seeds, are in the top area. And I've just monitored this to where it's not too hot, but it's warm enough to germinate these seeds. And within 3 days, some of my pepper seeds started germinating, and I was able to get them in some soil so they could continue to grow. But I'm going to check some today. And I don't want to leave them too long in here growing, because then the roots are going to start growing into the paper towels. So like I said, let me bring you closer, and I'm going to check a few of these and show you what I've done to try and get my pepper seeds to germinate. I think I have enough room to show you guys. Here is the bottom tray, and this is two sets of Christmas tree lights. I didn't want to put this together and then have to take it apart and add another set of lights just in case it wasn't warm enough. So I put 2 sets in here. I started up with both sets and it was too warm, so I just unplugged one, and then the other set is fine for getting it up to about 90 degrees. And then another tote, just exactly the same. I've had these totes for probably about 5 years, so it's nothing I went out and bought, but they're only about, I don't know, about $3 a piece at Walmart. So if you can spend that much to get your seeds going. And Christmas tree lights, I just went out and got them out of my Christmas stuff and brought them back in the house. The other tote just sits on top. And then all of my seeds are inside in little plastic, little Ziploc bags. So my peppers have been in this tote for about 4 days. Yeah, they're all dated the 5th, or most of them are dated the 5th of February. Sweet habanero, let me see if those guys are coming up yet. And another thing about peppers, or anything that needs heat to germinate, it's best that you put them on heat and keep them on heat, just a consistent heat, instead of turning it on and then turning it off, turning it on, turning it off. Don't do that. Just keep them on a consistent heat, whether it's 75 degrees or 90 degrees. Just keep it consistent. So I check these guys, and then I just set them back on the floor and get them plugged back into the outlet. So here are my sweet habaneros, and they aren't germinating yet. Let me show you one that I think is already growing, but I left it back in here to grow a little bit more before I planted it. And that's a toro pepper. Thank you, Trixie, for sending me those seeds. Let's see what these guys are like this year. I don't think I've ever grown toro peppers. And the toro are starting to germinate here. Oops, I just got one stuck to my thumb. Maybe you can see this little guy. Well, if I got it up to the camera right. This guy right here is starting to grow a root. There he is right there. So gently put him back down. And I'm going to put these guys back on the heat, and I see 2 of them have germinated. I'm going to let them keep going, see if they'll grow a little bit bigger root before I get them into the soil. And if you do this and you look at the roots and they're growing into the paper towel, that's fine. Don't try and pull the root out of the paper towel. Just tear the paper towel away and plant that with your pepper or with your seed, whatever seed you're starting. And this is a great way to start almost any seeds. If you have seeds that you're planting inside, if you're starting your plants indoors and you want to get them going faster, or if you want to get them germinated faster and get them in the ground and get them growing, this is a great way to start seeds, whether they're pepper, watermelon. I started my okra seeds like this, so starting seeds with the moist paper towel method is a really good idea. So let me check one more before I go. My banana pepper seeds. I opened the pack. It's a brand new pack of seeds. So I opened it fresh. It was for this year. And I see one little guy right here just starting to send out a root. And the rest of them are going to try, I hope, to start growing. So I've got one banana pepper going. Another thing, when your seeds start germinating on a paper towel and you want to get them into the soil, if you've had them on heat like this, it's a really good idea to warm up your soil before you plant the little rooted seed. They've been here on 85 to 90 degrees. They've started germinating, and then you don't want to put that little seedling into some really cold soil and kind of shock it. It's probably best to warm up a little bit of water, pour the water on the soil to warm up the soil a little bit, plant your seeds, and then get the soil back on some warmth just for a little while so the seed can continue to grow and you can have a nice little pepper seedling. Okay, the last one I'm going to check is the sweet apple pepper. And I've never had sweet apple peppers. It sounds really good. But I just was opening up that paper towel to check these guys. And 4 days, and almost every sweet pepper, sweet apple pepper, almost every one of these have started germinating. Let me see if I can get these a little bit closer to the camera. And you can see, where am I? You can see most of these guys have started germinating, and I'm going to let them grow just a little bit more before I get them in some warm soil and get them started to growing. Well, after going through all of my pepper seeds and my watermelon seeds, I've got 2 different kinds of watermelon that are coming up after 4 days, and probably around 1/3 of my pepper seeds. If not 1/3, then at least 1/4 of my pepper seeds are coming up after 4 days, being on about 90 degrees. It's kind of hard to estimate or get the exact degree that's in the tote. One thing I did was I put a little container of soil on the tote, just some moist soil, and with my soil temperature probe, I measured the soil temperature, but of course, the seeds being right onto the plastic, it's going to be a little bit more than that. So the soil registered right around 79. I figured down on the bottom where I put the meter underneath the seeds also, or wrapped one of the seed packets around the thermometer. It came up to about 85, 89 degrees right in there. So that's not bad for peppers and watermelons to germinate. And I hope you guys learned, or not learned, but I hope you guys got something from this today. If you're having trouble starting any of your seeds, it's always a good idea to put them on a moist paper towel, get them in a plastic bag, and put them on the amount of heat that they need to germinate, especially if you're in a hurry, but if you're wanting your seeds to come up. And I'm wanting to plant my peppers sometime in March. Well, probably about the middle of March I'd like to put them out. And that's just about a month away. So I'd like to get these guys going, get them in some soil. I do have quite a few that have come up, and I think I'd taken them outside also. So they're out getting some sun. And it's a sunny day, but it's not warm, and it's not a lot of heat being on all my little seedlings. But I'm going to go back out there and check these guys. And I tell you what, before I end, take the camera out there and I'll show you the trays of seedlings that I took out and put on the sidewalk to get some sun. But first, I'm going to get these guys plugged back in real quick. I guess you guys can see this. I have this in a dark corner of my living room, so I'm sure you can see the Christmas tree lights. But I just wanted to show you one thing I do. If you can't get your seeds warm enough, or you don't think they're staying warm enough, I just put a dish towel over the top of them and just cover them up with a dish towel. There we go. And then they stay nice and warm. Here's everything I brought out this morning to get some sun, and they're doing really well out here in the sunshine. Here are a bunch of my tomatoes, and then I've got cucumbers, melons, and over here I've got cabbage coming up. These are the melons and cucumbers, and over here the squash I have at the end of this tray. These are Munchkin pumpkins, and they're doing really well. I planted these, I believe, in, let me see what this tag says. I planted these the last day of December, so that's why they're so large and doing so well. Well, you guys, that's it for me today. I'm going to go back inside. I think I'm going to start taking my trays of seedlings, though. I don't want them to get too much sun today, and like I said, it's not very well. It's warm enough out here, and the sun is shining, and it looks like these guys may be just falling over a little bit. Get them back inside underneath the artificial light, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye, everyone.